everyone, Glenda Mollet here, and I'm stamping in my craft room with you today, and we're going to use the Christmas Gleaming bundle to make this cute card. Now this was inspired by Stisha Bloodheart, but then I added a twist and did a little cool technique on top of borrowing it from her. Okay, so just bear with me while I make sure I'm oriented properly so you're not trying to watch me sideways. Yeah, there goes the cough. Take a drink to get rid of the frog. Okay, everything's good to go. All right, so we're going to make this card. And the thing that makes this card so stunning is the sparkle shimmer glitter paper that's underneath the ornaments. Now you have to be really careful when you do these ornaments because we're coloring on the back side of them with the dark real red or the dark cherry cobbler marker, and you have to do it on the back side because it's stamped with Stays On, and Stays On and the alcohol markers are the same base, so if you color on top of Stays On stamping, all it does is mush and bleed and become really ugly. So you just have to make sure that you catch the back side. Okay, so here's the recipe for this. And I'll just hold it there for a couple of seconds so you can pause the video and get the dimensions. Okay, so we're going to use the Scripty embossing folder. Can you see this? Look at that. I love it. I don't know what it says. I hear it's Carol dear at night following sweet across the leagues. Thought I heard the sound of music. Yeah, I don't know whether this is like a text out of a book or a poem or something, but it's gorgeous and it's fun to use. And we're going to use the subtle embossing folder, the Christmas Gleaming bundle, which consists of this stamp set and 2 punches that punch out the ornaments. And the greatest part of Christmas, we're going to be using the sentiment for the inside. And then the smallest stitch rectangle frame die from here. I call that A because these go 1 and up, and these one go A, B, C, D. And then this one, yeah, it's just an outlier. It's all by its little lonesome over there. Okay. As soon as I find my card kit. So I want to show you how I got these glitter dots. Can you, I don't know whether you can tell on there. Let me see if I can get it closer. There's a little bit of a green tinge in behind the black because I used the, let's see, what are they called? What are they called? The Twal Tidings glitter dots. Now these are red and green, and I had an overabundance of the green ones. So I thought, well, what can I do to use some of those up? Yeah, let's color them with the dark basic black Stampin' Blends. Okay, so I'll show you how to do that. It's really easy, but you have to let them dry for a bit. So I'm just going to put the card over there, make sure you can see and watch along. So we're going to do a small one, a medium one, and then a large one. And this one I've already done cherry cobbler just to show you that the difference. So you just, oh, this one's not sticking anymore. You just go over top of it like this with the blends. See? I don't know why that one's not sticking to the plastic anymore. But that's all you do. Go around to get the edges and then just go back and forth over the top. And see? They turn black. And then you still have a bit of the green coming through. Okay, so I'm just going to put those to the side and let them dry. And then we'll put them on when we're done. Okay, we're going to use Stamparatus for this, for part of it. So this is for the sentiment, and this one is to stamp the holly. This one is to punch the pieces for behind there. And here's a piece of window sheet to do the actual stamping. This one we're going to do the scripty embossing folder. This one is just stays plain. And then there's a 5 1/4 by 4 piece that we're going to run through the subtle embossing folder, and this is the inside piece. It's got the X on it. So let's do some embossing first and get that out of the way. Okay, so we need to emboss this one with the subtle embossing folder. Now I've put stickers on all of mine because there is 3 or 4 different types right now of embossing folders that I have. The new ones that you purchase are going to be the new style, but I still have some of the old ones, and I just had to write on them what I use, what sandwich to use. Because sometimes my memory fails. So we want the subtle stripes to be going up and down, so we'll just put that in there like that. And you always put your embossing folders in hinge first. So this one says I need the platform, so here's the platform, and then the embossing folder, and then a shim, which is just an extra piece of cardstock and a clear plate on the top. So there we are. And I'm just going to run it through the machine and put some texture on that piece. So there's that's got text. Now this embossing folder is ambidextrous, so you can go either way. It doesn't matter. So that took care of that. Now we need the scripty and our piece of vanilla. And you want to make sure you put it in right so you don't get your card going sideways. Well, you could do your card sideways. I shouldn't say don't get your card going sideways. Do it whatever way you want to do it. But this is one of the new ones. So I have the platform, a shim, and I need to use the new blue embossing folder plate. Because these ones are a little bit, the embossing folders are a little bit thinner than the old thick ones, so the new embossing plate makes up for that. It's a little bit thicker than just the regular clear one. So there's that. Okay, so we'll get this. Let's see, which side shall I? There is a difference. It's just not a right and a wrong side. It's just embossed one way and then embossed another way. So you can use whatever side you want. And I'm just going to put this onto our card base. Oh, well, that was dumb, because I just remembered that I put that up on dimensionals. So here we are. First boo-boo. Now, you can't put your dimensionals over top of this because it won't stick. It will not stick because those edges are made to not stick because the tape is in a roll. Oh, that doesn't have to go there. Let's move it along a bit. There we are. So I'm just moving them over past the tape. Man, this would have been a lot easier if I had remembered that. Oh well. C'est la vie. That's life. And this is just the edges of the dimensionals that I'm using. Okay, where's my card base? Hello. There we are. So now this is going to go on here like this. Oh, could use another piece right there. Let's just cut it off. Oh, yeah. I don't like it when my insides fall and sag. Don't like saggy middles. Okay, just about done. Apparently there's a lot of dimensionals on here. You can use too many dimensionals. But you also have to make sure you use enough so that it doesn't sag. Okay, there's that one. Now this one definitely does not get popped up. This just goes down flat. It's the next layer to go on. This is November 2019, club card number 3. So if you're looking for the hostess code for the club, if you want to place your order early, you can do that. There's the host code. And the hostess this month is Betty. Okay, so now, this one, I'm going to put mine on crooked. You can put yours on straight if you like, because you know what? It's your card. I give you the supplies, and what you choose to do with them is completely up to you. It's taken me a lot of years to get that through my bean. Now we'll take the one that has the script on it, and it's going to go on next. I'm not putting the adhesive right to the edge because some of the ends hang out past the cherry cobbler piece, and I don't want it kind of dipping down to stick, so I'm kind of trying to avoid the very edges. It's going to make the rabbit ears a little bit more difficult, but that's okay. Okay, now this one, make sure the script is the right way up. And it's just going to go on there like that. There we are. Oh, you know what? I just realized that I have more than 3. I have 6 on there. It's going to do over top of that red one because I can. See how easy it is to whip them up? It's really fast. There we are. They're going to dry yet anyways because we haven't done all the pieces. Okay, so there we go. So now let me get the dies and everything out of the way because we're done with die cutting. There is no die for this, so we have to hand cut it. But you can do it. I know you can. I know you can. Okay, so inside is this with the sentiment. So get the memento out. Come on. And the stamp. And we'll just do a little stampy in the corner. And the envelope. Make sure it's opening right. And do a little stampy in the corner. And then this piece. And we're going to color and cut that one out. So that's that. Oh, and now this for the sentiment. So this is the Merry Christmas. So make sure you do enough inking. You want good ink coverage on this so it goes nice and dark. And then put it down and rub. There we are. All right. We're not really done with the die cutting yet because we still have to cut this out. Now, if you see, this one is quite a bit shorter than the die. You can cut it like this. Doesn't matter. But I'll show you how to do that funky thing. Let's get my magnetic platform. And put the cutting plate down and then put my my paper on there and line one edge up all the way around so that you don't see any of the vanilla. You've just got the black showing through. Oops, I think that might have moved. Yep. Gently run it through. Okay, now you take off this excess piece. Throw that away. Now you're left with this, and it's lopsided. But then you take this and you put it back on there. You line it up with the end and then get it so that it sticks in the stitch marks. And when I run it through, I'm only running through part of it. So let me just get the machine up here so I can show you how to do that. And then you don't run it all the way through. I know this is going to be a little difficult for you to see because it's a little on the close side, but so I've got this lined up and it's in the stitch marks there. And I just want to run through that end. I don't want to run the whole thing through. So move your cutting mat down. Start running it through. Come on. And then when you run it through, it only puts pressure on that last little bit. So there. And you don't go over top of those stitch lines. So if you haven't matched the stitch lines up properly, it won't matter because you're not going over top of that stitching. As you can see, I have a crack or two in my plate. One of these days I'm going to use it and it's going to go snap, and that'll be the end of it. Okay, so there's our sentiment. And I'm just going to put that to the side. Now we have the glimmer paper. Put this card back so you can see it again. And I'm going to take my 2 ornament punches and punch out one big one and one little one. Whoops. There we are. Don't you love it how I give you extra paper? Okay, so that's that. Put those to the side. This we have to color it and hand cut it, but I want to show you the stamping on the acetate with stays on. So first thing to do is take the basic black marker and put something on it so you know which way is the right side. So if you write RS or your initial or something on it, when it's upside down, you'll know it's backwards. Yeah, don't put an O because that's not going to work, obviously. That would be funny. Okay, so I've got still got my little jiggy thing in here. That way I don't put it right into the corner and you're not stamping against the hinges. And I've got it set up. I'll move this one over just a bit. I've got it set up so that it's stamping on top of the acetate. You probably can't see that very well, but I'm just trying to move everything here so I can ink up my stamps. There, I'll put a stamp set underneath to give it a little bit of support, and that my stays on ink pad out and ink up the ornament stamps, and we're going to stamp both of them at the same time. And we're using stays on because we're stamping on plastic, and if you stamp with water on plastic it won't dry, but stays on will dry because it's alcohol based. There we are, and put it down. Get this out of the way. My house code is not wanting to stay there. Okay, give it a good rubbing. Slowly let it go. And there. Now I've got good ink coverage. So if you don't have good ink coverage, then ink it up again and re-stamp it before you move your paper. Okay. Now this is going to take a couple of seconds to dry. I just have an old envelope I'm going to put underneath here so I don't get stays on all over my Stamparatus. Stamparatus, best tool ever. Ever, ever, ever. Okay, so I'm going to let these dry, and while we're letting them dry, let's do some coloring. Okay, so we need we'll do the berries first. We need the light and the dark cherry cobbler. So this is going to be a bit of a tutorial. I left some white around the centers of the berries. Now you have to do it wide because this is vanilla. This is not the best cardstock to use, so we're not going to really get a perfect blending because of the paper. You should really use Whisper White, but I didn't want Whisper White on this card. You can do it with the vanilla, you just don't get as good results. It tends to flow more. So make sure if you want the white around the tips of the berries that you go out wide enough. So now you figure out which way your light source is coming from, and then you just put shadows in the berries. Now this one's going to have a shadow there because it's underneath the other one. So just a little bit of the dark, and then you go back in with the light and blend it all together. Now of course this is not white as I said, so you won't get as good blending as we would on the Whisper White, but it still looks pretty. And I'm going to do a video on using the Stampin' Blends. Okay, so that was cherry cobbler, light and dark. Now we're going to use granite gray. Nope, gray granite, light and dark. And we're going to do the same thing with the leaves. First of all, you put on a base of your light coat, and you go in a circular motion like this because you need to get a good base of ink on your image so that the paper stays wet long enough to manipulate the other layers that you're going to of ink that you're going to put on. So just go